What's up, guys? This is Bobby Douglas, and we are back again today with another 2020 NBA Draft Prospect full game video breakdown. And today we're looking at Maryland big man Jalen Smith. And just a disclaimer before we start, I am extremely high, perhaps even a little bit irrationally high on Jalen Smith. I have him as a top 10 prospect in the class. I have him ranked 9th right now. And that's around 15 to 20 spots higher than anybody I've seen had him mocked or ranked in their big boards or mock drafts. And I just want to give a little bit of a reason why I'm so high on Jalen Smith compared to most other people, right? So I think Jalen Smith offers probably one of the most unique combinations I've seen in terms of two standout skills in a prospect in a really long time. So this first one is his three-point shooting. He shot 37% from three this past season as a 6'10" four-man, which is very hard to find and very hard to do. Secondly, his rim protection skills have been very solid at both years of Maryland. This year he averaged around 2.5 blocks a game, which is very good. And so obviously he's going to have his flaws. Again, most people have him ranked in the low 20s. You know, he's not strong. He doesn't really have quick feet on the perimeter. But aside from all that, I really do think the upside is there with Jalen Smith, because at worst you're getting a rim protector who can shoot threes and space the floor, which I think is insanely valuable in today's NBA. So that's mainly the reasons why I'm really high on Jalen Smith. And yeah, so just with that being said, let's just get into the video. Make this full screen. And again, this is an NBA Draft Cut-Ups video, so it'll be a quick video today. Thank you again to NBA Draft Cut-Ups. I couldn't find a full game of Jalen Smith online, and so luckily NBA Draft Cut-Ups had a ready-to-go full game clip show of Jalen Smith. So that's really awesome. So make sure you check out their channel. Again, it's NBA Draft Cut-Ups. I'll provide a link to their channel in my description. So just make sure you guys check them out, and let's get watching Jalen Smith. So he's number 25 in white on Maryland. So he's on the blocks right now. So let's watch him play. So he's on number 0 for Rhode Island right now. Again, he's very skinny. Probably could be a little bit more physical on the blocks. I do like his shot blocking instincts. I think that's a very positive aspect of his game. But again, he needs to be a little bit stronger. Good closeout right there. Led to an open three, however. In this game, he had 19 points and 11 rebounds with, I believe, 2 blocks and a steal. 3 turnovers as well. So a little bit of everything from Jalen Smith today. So again, he's 6'10". He's probably the biggest guy on the floor right now, and he's able to move and space the floor, which I really like. You know, I think that's insanely valuable. He doesn't really have great foot speed or great ball handling abilities, but I think if he works on that, he can be a really, really valuable player in the NBA. Hence why I have him 9th on my big board right now. So he's in the post, just manning up right there. See if he gets this rebound. Not really falling to him, so. So again, he's setting up on the perimeter. He's allowing Maryland to go 4 out, 1 in. And last year, if his three-point shooting were a little bit better, he really improved as a three-point shooter this year, obviously. But last year, again, remember, Maryland's playing with a Bruno Fernando, who's just a monster in the paint. If Jalen Smith could have spaced the floor with a little bit more efficiency last year, and he started to towards the end of his freshman year. So again, right there, we saw he just got beat off a cut. He was kind of in no man's land trying to help on the pass, and he ultimately let his man cut behind him for backdoor. But again, so Jalen Smith, I think you can totally play him with a traditional center. I think he's totally able to do that. He will struggle against smaller fours and against bigger fours defensively, just because he's skinny and doesn't really have great foot speed on the perimeter. But I'm willing to take that risk just for the chance to have a three-point shooting rim protector. You know, I think that's a very valuable combination of skills to have in the NBA. So here he is on the perimeter again. Good roll too he does here. post-ups. So again, he's pretty weak with the ball in the post. Doesn't really have great vision. He's pretty raw in a lot of areas in his game, but again, his three-point shooting is enough for me to really buy into him as a prospect. So let's see what he does here. Again, good offensive rebound, good finish. In some of his Big Ten games where he was going up against really physical teams like Purdue, Wisconsin, those types of teams, he really had good games against them. He was strong. He looked physical. You know, they call him Sticks because he's so skinny. But again, I think he's capable of being a tough guy down low. It's just a matter of just how far will his mentality take him versus his physical limitations in terms of weight, lack of weight. But again, in terms of a guy who's I think he has a high motor, especially on offense. Defensively, he could be a little bit better, I think. But offensively, I think he goes after offensive rebounds well. I think he's a strong putback, so he's putting it on the floor right there. Again, another turnover from Smith. Again, not the guy who's going to beat you off the dribble. He's more of a catch-and-shoot three-pointer instead of an off-the-dribble guy. But I do like that he's almost willing to attempt going off the dribble a little bit more. So there's Jalen Smith on a putback dunk. Again, really good length in my opinion. I think, you know, his vertical jump isn't super great. It's probably a little bit above average, I would say. But, you know, I think he has good instincts around the rim on both ends. I think he's very good at getting putbacks. I think he's very good at blocking shots on that end. So let's see what he does here. So see right there, I think he forced a travel, and that was a pretty good defensive stance. And again, he's one of those guys as well where he doesn't really have to be super glued to a guy on the perimeter because he's so long. So if his man wants to try and shoot over him, he can recover and get back because of his length. So I think that's another aspect that you have to analyze defensively. I'd like him to be a little bit more of a better perimeter defender, but overall I do like what he brings to that side of the table. In terms of just being long and just being able to contest shots on the perimeter. In terms of being on an island and guarding a guard and trying to keep him in front, not really sure if he's there yet to be able to do that consistently. But I think he can improve on that, obviously. So here he is defending the post. Let's see what he does here. Nothing really. He switched, and then yeah. So that's on him. He did a good job kind of recovering out into the perimeter. Looked like a missed defensive coverage by Maryland on his switch, but that's not really on him. So now he's in the weak side corner. Tried to crash, good box up, but the shot was made anyway. So post right now. Good job going to his man first there instead of going for the ball. He went and tried to get a body on his man before trying to get that rebound, which I always like in a prospect. I like prospects having that level of awareness. So he does here again. So he's just using that arm. So again, that's a pretty good job. Again, that's the type of shot that Jalen Smith can easily contest because of his length. Again, he was just arm's length away, had his hand out in front like that. And again, that's really all he needs to do. Step backs and things like that, he obviously won't be doing that, guarding that a lot in the NBA just because, again, of his lateral quickness limitations and things like that. But again, I do think he's able to get contests on a lot of shots on the perimeter. So it looks like a little floppy action that Jalen sets the screen in. Now he's trying to get a post touch. It's right there. Let's see what he does in the post here. So again, right there, you saw his length. Again, that was a backside, so he had to go across his man's body and try and get that shot. Contested, he did a pretty good job right there doing so. I love these NBA draft cut-up videos. You can just fly through games. So let's see what he does here. Again, another good job contesting that shot. You know, and I think his length is really game-changing. You know, he's like, you know, I've described a lot of prospects this year as long. And Jalen Smith is one of the longest, just in terms of his, like, look, I mean, just look at his arms. You know, he's 6'10". But you can tell when he's full extension, he's very difficult to get a shot over. So here he is operating in the post. Probably traveled, or he got called for a foul there. But again, you'd like to see him have a little bit more vision out of the post. He averaged just under an assist a game, while also averaging around 2 turnovers a game, which is never good. But for a lot of big guys, that's pretty common. So here he is again. So that time he had to tag the roll man, and he was just put in a tough spot. He did a good job. At least he didn't give up on the play, and he tried to do a late contest, but he got put in a tough position there because he had to tag the roller and then help and recover on the popper on the screen. So let's see if he can get him a post touch or something here. He's setting a lot of screens on the baseline. That's pretty effective. I do think he could be a pretty solid screener just because I think he can take up a lot of space, especially with his lower body, because he has pretty long legs as well. So if he gets a wide stance and a strong base, I do think he could be a good screen setter in the NBA too. And you're talking about a guy who will be, he didn't really do a whole lot of this at Maryland, but in terms of just a pick and roll, pick and pop nightmare, I think Jalen Smith is going to be a very good player out of pick and roll. He just needs to work on his short roll distributing. So Maryland's in a 1-3-1, it looks like right now. And they got a steal off of it. So it's been a pretty quiet first half for Smith right now. Good job coming out and guarding that perimeter. And again, so you can kind of tell he understands how long he is because he's really not getting... That was a pretty tough contest. Good made shot there. But again, you could tell he's just not really getting straight up into the grill of the people he's guarding. It's just more of just like using an arm to just kind of like just keep tabs on him when he has the ball, more so than just kind of trying to harass him. So here he is, and now he's... Okay, so he basically hedged that, and then he has to recover down low. So let's see if we can get him a post touch here. There we go. So let's see what he does here. So he's in the post. So that's a really good finish. Again, that's a left-handed hook shot right there. That's his offhand. Pretty smooth. Again, it's not like... Who was probably we were watching the other day where he just kind of threw it at the rim. I think that was Onyeka Okongwu, right? You know, where he looked very uncomfortable going to his left hand and just out of jump hooks in general. Jalen Smith has very good touch with both of his hands, which I think is another one of his strengths in the post. So again, so now he's switched onto a guard. I think this is Fats Russell. Again, that's a really good job staying in front. You know, he ultimately let him get by on the baseline. But again, if you're going to force up that shot, that's a very good possession for Jalen Smith. See what he does here. Got called for a travel there. That's always tough. He really needs to improve his overall offensive instincts in space if he really wants to be a pick and roll threat, I think. A lot of times he'll get sped up when he has the ball and going into traffic when he has space. If he attacks that space, it'll often lead to a charge or a travel or just some other type of turnover. He's really a lot better. He's a way better offensive player when he doesn't really have to think about where he's going to go with the ball next. So it's just more of just like a straight up reaction. It's just like, putbacks, catch and shoot 3-pointers. When he has the ball for a little bit too long, he tends to think about it too much, and then it ultimately leads into a bad decision or a bad shot. So Maryland's in this zone again. And here they come on the break. So yeah, you can see they're in the 1-3-1. So again, right now we're going to see him. So he tried to do it. It looked like he set a ball screen there. He didn't really do much with it. He tried to set another one. They've been in this 1-3-1 zone for a very long time. It's like a 1-3-1 that kind of reverts back into a 2-3. So here he is. He got a deflection there. That was a pretty good play. Again, just using that length to just bother people on passes and shots. That time he probably should have gotten that rebound. He got kind of caught on his back feet there. Couldn't really get the elevation he wanted. So here's Jalen Smith again. Got kind of a little bit, looked like his arm got pulled down. He got put in jail a little bit there. We want to see him contest that shot a little bit better. Final 30 seconds of the first half here. Then I will switch to the second half. Or I'll stop this video and then go to the second half where I will upload that video as well. Grabs that rebound, see what he does here. All right, so that's the end of the first half. I will upload this video, and then I will upload the second half, obviously, after this one. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And, again, thanks for watching. We'll see you for the second half right after I upload this one.